Up, down, left, right, PA start.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Double jump.
Oh my goodness.
And welcome to Old World Tech Fridays, episode number 14. I am joined this evening by Trina of Trina's Technical Babble, Ryan of Everything's Broken Garage, and Zodium is joining us. Welcome, everyone.
Yay, Zodium. Hey, Zodium. Welcome.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm actually on camera for once.
Who actually we get to see the face of for once. And not just a keyboard.
Retro Techie says, oh my God, Zodium has a face. Now, in fairness, he's only boring it this evening. It's not his actual face.
So who do we got?
No, my actual face is over here.
Oh, I saw the
face.
That's cool.
What is that from, by the way? Because I saw you had
Is that a
pictures of it.
Squishmallow?
This is actually a Beanie Baby.
Oh, no kidding.
Cool.
Huh. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Who do we have in the chat this evening? Looks like we
my
got
face.
So we
Sleepy
have
Malibu.
Sleepy Malibu, Chris L, Scarlet, the Four-Eyed Cuda, Retro Techie, Starbuck Tech, Der Gut Bomb, and so Sloopy wants to know, is Zodium better than Sodium?
They're the same thing.
Okay.
Does that
It's
mean you're
just
salty?
rebranded.
Wow.
Does that mean you're salty?
Wow, Retro Techie.
I know, right? So apparently Zodium's going to take my place because apparently you're going to just get rid of me.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need 3 white guys talking about shit.
Yeah, because, there's not enough show about 3 white guys talking about computer shit online.
You know what thing really pisses me off that I have no control over and it doesn't actually affect me at all?
You fill out your GPS
French
reports.
Canadians.
Oui, think. Haha.
Oh,
Oh.
oui. Sacre bleu.
Did Ryan move? I mean,
Did I move?
Oh, it's
Sort of.
because we're on a different
I am physically I am quite large, but I am physically capable of moving. Jabba the Hutt here. Yeah, Jabba. Go.
you
But
can't
even
see
Jabba the
very
Hutt
much.
moves, for God's sakes.
No, I'm actually streaming from a cabin about 4.5 hours from my house. We're in the process of driving across the island, and we stop here halfway so that we don't have to do a 10.5-hour cannonball to the other side of the island.
He's filming a Cabin in the Woods sequel.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. It's called Cottage by the Lake.
That's right.
We're waiting for Bruce Campbell to show up. He's going to do a cameo.
Nice.
There's some Evil Dead type stuff going on here. It's going to be quite good. I got some
Very
chainsaws,
nice.
some machetes.
So
Everything is broken cabin. Yeah. There you go.
Everything is broken cabin.
The floor creaks.
So if we don't see Ryan,
Likely
back
because I was
next
murdered.
week, we know what's happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was murdered.
And don't forget everybody to shed a tear at least, and then move on with your day.
That's true.
Correct.
That's true.
And I will distribute my retro tech wealth to everybody through a form of lawyer and shipping system.
It rubs the Mac on its skin.
And by the way,
Because
yes, you did see a kitty, Starbuck Tech. Hi.
That's for retro teching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
So
hang on for a sec. 1 sec. Hi, Retro Techie.
To answer Sloopy's question, yes, there is a trapdoor, and yes, we have found a book in the basement with some weird text that we're going to read later while possibly sacrificing a goat.
let me
And
know
by
if
the
you
way,
see Gary.
and by the way, goat means laptop on wheels to me. So
Let's start at the top since
yeah,
Trina's on
let's
the
actually
top
start
corner.
in. We're kind of goofing around a bit.
Yeah.
tonight.
So
Yeah.
Trina, what do you got to talk about today?
I thought you were gonna. You usually start with this week in
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
let's
I was waiting
see
for you to
here.
start with that.
So starting with Sunday, so August 6th, 1997, at the Macworld Expo in Boston, Steve Jobs announced that Apple and Microsoft have signed a 5-year alliance. This is where Bill Gates famously makes his seemingly ominous Big Brother appearance on the large screen behind Steve Jobs during the presentation. So Monday, which would have been August 7th, 1944, IBM presents Harvard University their automatic sequence controlled calculator, the ASCC, an electromechanical computer devised by Howard H. Aiken and built by IBM.
I'm sorry though.
Harvard,
Frank. Just to interrupt for a sec. An atomic calculator, that would have been super cool.
Indeed. But no, an automatic sequence controlled calculator. But Harvard renamed it the Harvard Mark I. But it wasn't really a significant technological advance or anything really for the time. Let's see. August 8th, 1980, the project chess team at IBM shows a prototype microcomputer to their corporate management. Management gives the approval for the team to build an operational computer with a 1-year deadline to complete in the rapidly emerging personal computer market. 1 year and 4 days later, the IBM PC is announced to the world, and the rest is history. Let's see. August 9th, 1898, the U.S. Patent Office awards patent number 608,845 to Rudolf Diesel for his diesel international combustion engine. Let's see. August 9th, 1991, the first email from space. Astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Atlantis mission STS-43 used an Apple Macintosh portable computer to send what is considered the first email from space using Apple Link online service. Atlantis astronauts Shannon Lucid and James C. Adamson sent the following message. Hello, Earth. Greetings from STS-43 crew. This is the first Apple Link from space. Having a great time. Wish you were here. Let's see. August 10th, 1966, the first lunar orbiter, creatively named Lunar Orbiter 1, is launched. Its primary mission to photograph potential landing sites for future Apollo missions. And then today, August 11th, in 2003, the blaster worm, also known as MS Blast or Lovesan, begins to spread on the internet, affecting Windows XP and Windows 2000 computers. The primary symptom of the worm was crashing the RPC service, which would trigger the computer to shut itself down and reboot. Microsoft estimated the number of machines infected was between 8 and 16 million. Damage caused by the worm was an estimated $320 million.
Wow.
At that time in 2003. So that's this day in history.
Sweet.
A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Especially,
do you guys, did any of you remember that worm? I remember when that came out. I remember everybody's freaking out. Yeah.
What I thought was crazy was the first email from space was sent from a Mac portable. I wouldn't have guessed that.
The most unreliable Macintosh. Let's send it to space.
Worked in space, yes.
But it worked in space, so it's not it's unreliable. It's just unreliable with gravity.
It just doesn't like gravity.
It shows you that the SCSI drive it works best in zero gravity.
Exactly.
So yeah,
can confirm.
So Trina, what do you got going on?
What do I got going on? So, really kind of last minute, but today I received an email. I'm going to copy over the link here.
From space?
From space, yeah.
Just like Gonzo.
Email, and I'm going to share my screen as well, so y'all can see.
While you're doing that, James C. asks, where are these guys streaming from? Yes, I'm in Newfoundland. Trina is in New York.
I'm in Toronto.
Frodo's in New York, and Zodium is in California.
Okay. Perfect.
You got an email to your Gmail?
Yeah. So this came to my email, and so really kind of last minute, which is a bit Anyway, it is what it is. The world of retro computing, or work, WORC, I guess work. Make it work, baby. 2023 will be taking place the weekend after VCF Midwest on September 16th and 17th. I'm trying to find the date right now. Oh, here it is. Aha. Yeah, 16th and 17th. And it's taking place in a closed department store, which is interesting. So I am going to be going. I have my train ticket booked, which was a whole whopping $87 round trip.
So, Train, I gotta ask a quick question.
Yeah.
So this WRRC is essentially the retro computer equivalent of Spirit Halloween.
Yes.
That they open their store in an old retail location.
Yeah. And RetroRewind.ca, for those who know that site, is the first platinum sponsor. They'll be set up and ready for all your Commodore needs. I don't have any Commodore needs. Sunday.
Would you like some Commodore needs? I got lots of Commodore.
No, I'm good. Special guest Bill Hurd will be joining us joining remotely for an exciting webcast with his own special guest joining in. So I'm going to be interested to see who Bill Hurd's special guest is. And both days it runs 12 to 5.
Can I make a guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Jerry. It's definitely going to be Jerry.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
she's involved in everything.
Guest speakers on the conference are Nibbles and Bites, Mind Flare Retro.
Where are you seeing this at?
On their website.
I'm on their website. Where did you go?
Work Expo sponsors, and then it says guest speakers down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, their website's pretty terrible, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where are you seeing guest speakers? I'm scrolling down. Look at my screen. Look at my
Control
screen.
Find. Guest speakers.
Yeah.
Do you see where it says the Expo sponsors? The tab there to the right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Click that.
Yeah.
Go down toward the bottom.
Oh. Why don't they have this on the?
Keep going. There you go.
Oh, here we go.
Guest
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if that's last year or this year. Because if you notice, they don't have Bill Hurd listed. Right? So they may not necessarily. And also, they only have one sponsor confirmed.
I'm getting a little. I'm getting an idea or a notion here that this was very last minute. I feel like I vaguely remember this was last year, and they weren't sure if they were going to do it again this year. And I'm guessing they just did it really last minute.
That's what I'm feeling.
Because a lot of the website says 2022 on it still.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is keep the website link is in the chat, and it will be in the description of the stream later on. Hint, hint, Frank. So go check it out. Keep checking out the page. I'm going to be refreshing it every day. But yeah, I have my train ticket booked and I have my hotel room booked. And somebody, I can stop sharing my screen at this point.
Midnight train to Georgia.
Somebody that I met when I sold 2 G4 Power Macs to them. Turns out we have been following each other on Twitter. We have gotten to know each other since last Sunday and have kind of developed a friendship. And she's going to actually be staying with me at the hotel room because it was cheaper to get a hotel room with 2 queen size beds and a single. Figure that one out. So I'm like, if you need a place to crash, come crash. And she's like, down. She's like, how do I know you're not a serial killer? And I'm like, easy. I would have invited you to a cabin in the woods. Hi, Ryan.
Oh no, they seem to have booked a room with 1 bed. What a mistake.
So I got everything booked today for it because I took today off as a mental tidy day. So
awesome.
Did that and was super happy that I got the email. But yeah, it seems really like, oh poop, let's put this together as quick as possible. So.
Yeah, it seems very last minute. I wish them the best of luck, but for anybody who's not in the greater Toronto area,
Yeah.
Basically it's a bit of an invitation.
Well, I mean, unless if you're Frank and can just drive up in 3 hours, and
It's true.
and then somebody on the
Actually,
Taylor,
we can fix this. We'll just get Garth to take his private helicopter to pick us up.
right?
That's right.
Bingo. There you
Problem
go.
solved.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah. So, and on the Taylor and Amy show, Amy's husband had said, "Well, we were planning the next week. We're planning on going to like having our postponed honeymoon," and I'm like, "But you could just do it that week. I mean, what is better than for a honeymoon than being surrounded by vintage computers?"
That's right.
I mean, I've had friends recently who are going to see Taylor Swift for their honeymoon. So, there are worse things to do in Toronto. And they call me the anti-hero.
But yeah, so that's the news today. I'm
Nice.
super excited so I won't be going to Midwest because it's a week apart, and I can't afford to go to both. And it's just, as I said, it's $87 round trip for me to go there on a train.
That's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Zodium, people are thinking you are actually a figment of their imagination because you're not speaking. So if you could say a few words. See, there you go.
No, I just exist in everybody's minds.
He's
Oh, yeah,
a figment of your imagination.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's
What?
exciting. Sorry, we're just
Oh, the
talking.
conference.
I completely zoned out.
So, Ryan, what do you
Wow.
got going on?
So yeah. What I want to talk about today is I was reading a really interesting article, which I have up here on my screen. So the owners of Dungeons and Dragons, which is Wizards of the Coast, I still believe they still own it, had basically told their illustrators to stop using AI to develop artwork for the fantasy franchise.
Oh.
And so what's really neat about that is I'm a big believer in the adage, a friend of mine has been saying it for years, but I've come more and more to accept it, is that AI won't take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI will.
That's true.
So I think by Dungeons and Dragons telling them to stop using AI is kind of like 15, 20 years ago, your art director coming in and be like, boys, don't be using Photoshop. I want to see everything hand done. God forbid you use a computer. Right? So I kind of understand that there might be some legalities there, especially if they're borrowing inspiration from existing artwork and whatnot. And obviously that kind of stuff needs to be ironed out. They also own Magic the Gathering. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast owns everything geek related. At some point I would imagine they're going to buy, was it Gaming Workshop or Games Workshop? I think that's the last thing they don't own. Which is like Warhammer and Warhammer 40K and for all those tabletop nerds. But yeah, so like AI is inevitable. It's gonna happen. It's Zodium, I really like that. That's awesome. You should keep that up for a bit. I think Joe would appreciate that.
You say bring your face up, then I bring that up, and people are like, no, we like that better.
That's like Joe's here, but like the Incredible Hulk version of Joe, who like throws things around the room. See, Joe approves. He likes it. He's the Incredible Hulk Joe.
It's free. It's free advertisement.
That's right.
So yeah, I just wanted
to JCM-1.com.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in Joe smash. Yes, Apple IIIs, Joe smash all the Apple IIIs. It's the only way to get them to work. It's not like he's breaking them. It's just how you make them work. Joe stares at his 31 orders and cries. Yeah. Just before the stream went live, he sent out an SOS wondering if anybody wanted to come over for, I think it was donuts and pizza to help him solder some orders. It's a trap.
Adam, that is such because you do not want to see my whole room. My camera is very wide angle.
What I was going to say in the chat, maybe we could talk about it if people are into talking about it. But like, how is AI going to affect your job? So I'm looking at these guys; these are artists for one particular area of a fantasy franchise. I mean, in my own job, I already use AI to do a bunch of stuff. And I don't see it as a negative thing. I see it, if anything, it's just another tool in a tool chest, right? Like, it's no different than I don't know, using, what's a good example? I don't know, using an auto patcher instead of manually patching a piece of software. I mean, how many of us actually sit down and run Windows updates one at a time by manually downloading?
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody does that. You use Windows updates, or if you're in a large organization, you use a Windows update server, or you use a RMMM, some sort of role management system to do the updates. Yeah, and like Javier says, AI will enhance my job. Yeah, I don't see it as being negative. So I think a lot of this sort of like quick to judge, jump on the anti-AI bandwagon, I think is going to actually hinder a lot of development in some areas. And I understand artists are kind of like a weird, not a weird, but very touchy area right now because these AI models have been basically built on using other people's artwork for the basis of their knowledge to be able to create their own artwork. So, but I would argue that traditionally artists do that anyway. I mean, how many artists go to a museum and look at, the great masters' works, right? You don't learn by not seeing those things, right? How many people buy art books and look and thumb through them,
Or even how music today is created. It's like there's only so many chord progressions.
Right, exactly. So everything's a build up. You're standing on the shoulders of previous people, right? That's just how the art world works. It's just how the music world works. It's just how everything works. So it's just as how tech works. I mean, I don't know how binary works. I couldn't sit down and write something with assembly language. It's not my thing. But I know enough that was something that somebody had to do in the past, so that I don't have to do it now. And I think that's sort of like the next step of the AI is just another tool. It will learn from the masters. It'll read the masters. It'll look at the masters' works. It'll look at individuals' works, and it will, grow from there.
If I may.
See, Scarlet Four-Eyed Cooler says the company he works for is dumping Zoom due to a statement that they're going to use it to feed AI. So, again, depending on what agreement you signed with Zoom, right? Like, it's kind of like when you call into a call center, it says, hey, your voice may be recorded for training and quality assurance purposes. Yeah, there's definitely somebody listening there, but who's to say that's not an AI?
Sure.
Right? And if you want to get through to the people, you got to say yes to the prompt. Some will allow you to ignore it, but most places want you to say yes to that prompt. So it's all about just your licensing. If that's something you're not comfortable with, by all means, don't do it. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. But if that's part of what Zoom is offering, part of their licensing, they said we will offer this only if we can do this. I mean, Zoom got to spend a ton of money on infrastructure, and I'm guessing their $14 a month licensing thing they charge is probably not covering the bills anymore, especially since the fallout from the COVID going back to work. So they got to make money somewhere. So if that's one way they're going to do it, then cool. If you want to be part of that, awesome. If you don't, go to WebEx, go to GoToMeeting or whoever, Teams, right? But even Teams has built-in AI. Like, it's not Microsoft-oriented AI in the sense that it's helping Microsoft. It's actually AI for your own benefit. It's like we do a sales call now through Teams. It will take the recording and it will tell us how the person who was in the sales call with us, whether or not they are favorable to what we're talking about, whether or not things they were apprehensive about, whether things they were completely against. And then we'll be able to use visual and audio sensors, basically, to pick up on this kind of stuff, which is stuff a good salesperson might be able to do, but you won't be able to do it to the level that it's built into Teams. And I think that's cool. It's a really cool tool that I think if you get good to using it, you'll be a better salesperson. You'll be a better, again, it's not taking your job, it's making your job easier and making you a better person at your job. Gut bomb, don't use Teams, it's bad. I disagree. I think the Teams interface has been anything but getting better. It was terrible when COVID first started, but it's definitely gotten better. I use it. If you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, it's awesome because it's just built right in. If you're on one of these people that likes to jump between things, you got iCloud for stuff, and you use Google Apps, and picking one is probably going to be very difficult because it's But if you're in a walled garden and you like it, works really well, especially if you're in Microsoft.
Real quick
But,
before we
So
Oh, there's a lot of feedback just suddenly right there.
Yeah, I know.
So I think Javier touched on something I want to really expand on. The problem with AI isn't the fact that it exists, it's the people that make it what it is. And the problem with AI kind of living in Silicon Valley's backyard right now is that AI is being used to exploit people rather than actually helping them. So AI is good. Like I said, like I think it has good applications. Like you could use it to say take a old song recording. Like I would hope that it's being developed, like an old song recording that only exists as like a really crappily mastered recording, and like bring it up to like lossless standards. Like it would be cool to use it for that. The problem is the tech industry has latched on to AI now, and they are seeing it as we can use this instead of paying people what they're worth, or we could use this to exploit people rather than like pay for a good artist or pay for something like that. And that's kind of where the controversy with AI is really centered. It isn't the fact that it exists, because I think it has good applications. It's just the problem is the people pushing it right now.
Isn't that the whole Disney situation right now, where the screen actors and stuff are on strike, and Disney had already scanned in their likenesses and all that stuff and are using AI to create background performers?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're not paying these people.
Somebody actually, somebody who was an extra on Iron Man 2 actually made a TikTok about this. Basically saying they were invited out, even back in 2009, they were invited out to a tent where they were like a bunch of really high grade cameras. They didn't tell the background actors what they were being recorded for. They just said, come out here, we're taking pictures of your likeness. And then at the end, the guy was like, okay, what is this for? I was never informed of this. And they said, we are basically scanning in your likeness so that we can continue to use you throughout the film without having to bother you about it. And that, it seems like one of those things that on paper would be a good idea, but then the potential for abuse is too great. And that's kind of where my criticism of AI lies, is the problem is that a lot of these people behind it aren't considering the abuse factor behind what they're doing and how this can be made into something that can be used for abuse.
Right, but I would say any technology is like that. I mean, great example. Currently, we're in theaters. Oppenheimer. You have nuclear power versus nuclear weapons. I mean, one is fantastic. One is possibly destroy the world. Right? It's a double-edged sword. Everything's a double-edged sword. You look at any technology that's come out in the last 50 years. There's a good side and a bad side. I use a great example: self-driving cars. At some point in the future, a self-driving car is going to have to decide whether my life as an individual is worth less than a family of 4 that's in another car, right? Like there will be a decision made there that will be negatively affecting me versus positively affecting somebody else. It's a double-edged sword. I understand that's going to happen. As for actors, again, I'm a big believer in contracts, and obviously know what you're signing before you sign it. And I know you can't know the future, but I would never sign anything that said, Ryan Hayward, we basically licensed your likeness forever, right? Like I would never sign that. That would never be something I would sign. And if that was presented to me, I would definitely get a lawyer to look at it and be like, well, what is this, right? And I think obviously starving artists, maybe they're being abused because they're starving. I understand that. Movie executives are assholes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're worse than lawyers. Let's put it that way. Right? Like they're some of the scummiest people on the face of the earth. However, I don't think because of that, we need to say a whole technology is kibosh, which is my fear.
I just think it needs to be very well regulated rather than banned outright.
Yeah.
Problem is who regulates it and who decides what is good and what's bad, right? And then on a global scale, who decides what's good and bad? I mean, I don't know about you, but I really don't want the UN wasting time figuring out whether AI is good or bad. They got a lot better things to be at, like feeding starving kids and stopping genocide.
Well, there's no way to say whether or not they'll use AI for traffic cams or surveillance or
Exactly.
China does their social system as far as social credit and stuff. So who's to say that AI is not watching everybody?
I'm very leery of that. So that's one of my big concerns, is that it'll become a government agency. There'll be like Department of AI, and it'll be like Minority Report.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's Odium. You flicked 4 flags on you're probably going to be a murder scale. So before we let you murder anybody, we're just going to go ahead and kill you. Right? Like,
not that you would, but you've got a great potential to. It's deemed that you have the potential to do so.
Yeah, well, that's a whole Minority Report. Like they went
exactly.
They guessed the future, and Tom Cruise's character happened to kill somebody.
Yep.
Right. Now they said it was predicting the future and that they were actually able to see but no, it was just an AI predicting the future based on inputs. Right. So James has a good idea here. He said, go around the room and give your best prediction where AI will be in 5 years.
Oh boy.
So are we gonna put my tinfoil hat on and say, depending on which way it goes, it's Judgment Day, Terminator 2, or it's Utopia?
I could see it. I could see it being used for mission critical applications such as targeting for drone strikes and things like that. It can think faster and react faster. Not that you'd want that.
I have an issue with that. I don't believe the government should decide who lives and dies, and if they do, it should be a human deciding it, not.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like the rationale is like, well, no one's going to have to live with that decision now because the computer decided. So, I mean, I could see it used for applications like that, or even who's to say they're not already.
I mean, they've already admitted that one of the last Al Qaeda strikes was AI assisted, I think, in so much they found it, but I think the button was still pressed for the Predator drone was still pressed by a human, but it was like
interesting.
Up to that point, it had been all the data was collected using AI, I assume.
As if?
Yeah, like Joe said, computers should never be able to make management decisions. Computers can't be held responsible.
Yeah. But I could see that as a good scapegoat.
Oh, it's coming.
Right? The Borg resistance is futile. Well, I did it because I was a Borg.
That's right.
I couldn't. I'm a Borg drone.
Well, it's no different than, throughout history. Look how many people says, I was only following orders.
Right. But in this case, we have to not have those orders followed. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I go back to the whole self-driving car. I don't think self-driving cars will be a thing because no insurance company is going to say that car is going to have to make a decision that my life is worth less than the 4 people in that other car.
And believe me, bureaucracy is the best killer of any idea or anything. It's going to come down to all the bureaucrats and the number crunchers saying, well, too much risk involved here. We're not going to cover it. Like you said.
We're not,
Nope.
And I think honestly, that's what's going to curb AI use in certain instances is the insurance companies are like, no, we don't want to touch it.
Yep.
We're not touching it.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Right.
So I can see AI, people using AI for human resources.
To some extent, but again, management decisions shouldn't be made by computers. But again, metrics can be looked at by a computer, and people and departments can be flagged for actual human. And again, that's what I'm talking about. They'll never take your job, but it will assist your job. So instead of you having to do a full department review on every single person, you can have those metrics in the computer, and it will say, hey, 200 people in the department, these are the 4 people you need to talk to because these are the metrics they didn't complete properly this quarter. Yeah. Right? And it just makes that job a lot easier. And then, Shelley from HR comes down and knocks on your door, and 2 minutes later, you got a pink slip. So,
Yep, exactly.
It is what it is.
Mass hysteria.
Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, human sacrifices. Dogs
I like Adam's quote. I'd rather play some tic-tac-toe, Adam, instead of some global thermonuclear war.
Oh my God.
But, I'm not Professor Falcon, so I can't.
I think AI, kind of going back to the original question, because he said round the room. Mm-hmm. So I think AI, as we know it right now, is being massively pushed by a bunch of tech bros in Silicon Valley. Sure. That's going to fizzle out in 5 years. We're not going to see it mentioned anymore. It's going to be like cryptocurrency. It's going to have a flash in the pan. It's going to be out there as like, oh my God, this is the next big thing, and then gone. It's going to just disappear as they move on to the next thing. I think
it'll evolve into something completely different.
I think most good applications of AI are going to happen kind of under the hood. Like they're not going to be massively talked about on the scale that we're talking about.
It'll be baked into an application. It'll all be baked in. It'll be just a normal part of an app.
I think the best AI is the one we're not going to know about. It's just going to do the job that it needs to do under the hood without really making itself known.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I use AI right now to do copywriting, which has been fantastic because I'm not a copywriter and I don't claim to be one. However, I can read a sentence and know that it's, you know, half legible and what I wanted to say. You know, sorry, reading Joe's comment there. Yes, intelligent. What is it?
Heuristics.
I thought it said hedonistics. I thought it was intelligent hedonistics. I was like, that's pretty funny. Hedonism bot. But yeah, like James said, crypto hasn't gone anywhere. Neither will AI. It'll still exist. It's just that the tech bros will have jumped to something else. They'll be talking about the new, I don't know, space laser or something, right? They'll be moved on to a new thing, and AI will just be a normal part of a toolbox that everybody has access to, that everybody uses to do different things. It'll be baked in. It'll be baked into your applications. It already is. But the only difference I'll say between cryptocurrency and AI is the people backing AI from a not tech bro area. Like tech bros went hard on the tech cryptocurrency, but people like Microsoft have definitely spent way more money on AI than they ever did on anything cryptocurrency.
Oh, sure.
You know, the same thing with that, right? So I think certain organizations are definitely seeing the value of it, opposed to say something like cryptocurrency or, you know, AG1 greens, athletic greens liquid that you drink, or whatever else they're peddling on YouTube these days. You know, so I think the fact that it's got their attention is pretty, and the fact that Microsoft spent billions of dollars to support ChatGPT and OpenAI is like, means there's something there. There's something tangible. It is going to be there for a while. It's not just going to disappear.
Sure.
But again, I hope that it's used for the best possible use. You know, but I can see it augmenting people's jobs. Like you talk about people being abused by it, but at the same time, I can see those same people being lifted up with it, like any tech, right? Like it can help them do their job better. You know, you're a script writer. Okay, cool. Maybe you feed your script into an AI to have it check for plagiarism, to have it check for, you know, similarities between other scripts that have been submitted. Maybe not plagiarism, but by theme and by, you know, character development and that kind of stuff. Stuff that you're not going to get by simple word search comparison of like traditional plagiarism.
Now, would you not consider Siri and Alexa to be AI?
To some extent, they're definitely AI backed. I know that, you know, specifically Google is, and even Cortana, which is now being killed. But you know, yeah, they're definitely AI backed. But it's going to be more and more, I think, as time goes on. So Karina's basically tapped out by the looks of it. So.
Oh no, I'm still here. I just was eating a quick supper. So.
Ah, gotcha. What's on the menu?
I had a couple of hot dogs, and I knew it wasn't that.
Come on.
And I knew it wasn't that kind of stream, so I didn't want to do it on camera.
We could have got some really good animated GIFs out of that.
You probably could have. Oh, and I sold the last Mac Mini.
Oh, perfect. Congratulations.
Nice.
So yeah, Zodi, was there anything else you wanted to mention about that?
Not really. It just like just a minor thing. Like James says, yeah, crypto hasn't gone anywhere. But I think there's a big difference between crypto now versus crypto back when everybody was like NFTs. Like it's gone from being shoved in everybody's faces to now it's died down. People still participate in it, but it's not being shoved in your faces anymore.
Yeah. And but that's like everything. The next greatest thing, right? Like you can go back 10 years and see what the last greatest tech thing was, right? Like everything stuff was being shoved in your face for the last 20 years, depending on where you were and what it was. I remember the internet first came on, man. Everybody's on. Do you remember those like what were they? As seen on TV, sold on television. You know, like the what's the channel? The shopping channel. I mean,
I remember physical stores.
Right? They used to be like, "Oh, got to be selling Pentium 1s. Here's a Pentium 1, Pentium 1, $4,000 Pentium 1. You want a Pentium 1? Dude, you're getting
it's
a
all
Dell."
about the Pentiums, baby.
Right? Like,
or how about those Cash for Gold? The commercials on
or
TV
876 cash now.
Yeah, we got this $3,000 ring. We're gonna take the price down to $99.95. 4 payments of $99.95.
Yeah. Right. So Justin Morgan, developer. Yes, when Microsoft was pushing development and Steve Ballmer was sweaty on stage, how could you forget?
What a time that was.
I always wondered, did somebody follow behind him with a mop and bucket, just like
probably
because he's like a slug.
Mop and bucket.
But yeah, so there's always going to be something pushed down your throat, but it'll all settle out. I think this big scare sort of, the satanic panic, if you will, towards AI is, there's a lot of stuff that's founded for sure, but I think a lot of it's also being pushed by misinformation and some stuff.
Wait, misinformation online?
I know. Imagine.
I would never believe that.
The AI is writing the misinformation.
Yeah, probably. I am not bad. Beep, bop, boop.
I'm disappointed that no one has made a reversey joke with the developers because we were referencing Ballmer. No one made a reversey joke. I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry.
Not one person. No, I'm talking about the chat too. This is a community effort.
What about I can make you remember when was it Windows 95 or Windows 98? No, Windows 95. And it was Jay Leno and a blue screen on stage, and Jay looked at Bill Gates and was like, "Well, somebody's getting fired," and Bill did not laugh. He was pissed.
I remember when they were testing Windows 98. And,
I agree with Ryan, and that in 5 years it'll just be part of everything, and it won't. And again, back with agreeing with Zodium, it just won't be a thing because it'll just be part of the natural flow of stuff. So
those will be baked in.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of saying Intel inside, it'll say AI inside.
10 or 15 years from now, people like us
we got to make that sticker, and it needs to go in our store.
Yeah.
Sorry.
People will be streaming, and they'll be like, huh, "You remember AI? That's hilarious."
Yeah.
Right.
What'll happen is we'll be streaming in 5 years, but it won't be us. It'll be YouTube using our likenesses to make it show.
Well, we should
make its own content.
We should cut Ryan off because he's been rambling like a goose shitting by moonlight for over 20 minutes. There's a good East Coast saying. Zodium, you're our guest. Let's hear from you.
Okay, so
I was VCF West.
I should say first, if Frank has anything quick to say, he should probably get out of the way first because I have a list of things to talk about.
That's okay. Nothing I ever say is quick, so you just go ahead and go.
Yeah. All right, and it's Frank. We've heard him talk for the past 12 episodes.
There's only one thing Frank does quickly.
So I've got a whole list of notes because I want to make sure I got everything covered for West because that's what I was brought on here to talk about is VCF West and all the wonderful stuff. And for some reason,
Zodium, can I just interrupt for a quick sec since I have Justin? We have Justin in the stream. Justin, 2 questions for you. You're going to use the blue sky code I sent you ever? And 2, did you get the power supply?
No and no.
Also, you could talk about anything but Bruno.
Okay, go ahead. That was all. I just was like, oh, he's here. I should ask.
Okay. So the first thing on my list for some reason, because the thing I was looking forward to the most was actually meeting the Macintosh librarian, because I never thought it would ever happen. Like, I never thought I'd ever get to meet the Mackie. Like, the Mackie.
Aww.
So, yeah, that was awesome. And Kate is every bit as awesome in person as she is on video. So very awesome person to just I was at her booth for a minute and talked to her, and really awesome person all around. Got to see some deep secrets of Mackie and wonderful stuff. I'm not sure how much of that she would want public, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But yeah, I got some interesting Mackie lore. It was interesting. The second thing, most notably, was consignment, because we kind of didn't get early access to consignment, but we got early access to the free pile, and somebody put in the free pile a Fractal Define R4, complete with all the hardware.
No
I
kidding.
could not believe it. Like, just complete. And I scooped that thing right out of there because I was like, is it kosher to take things off the free pile? Nice. Is it kosher to take things off the free pile before the show is even started? And somebody comes out of consignment and is like, just take it. You're making room for other people. Just get it out of here. So I took it, and I did not look back because those cases are definitely very sought after. But I did actually buy some things. What was that?
I said, why would you put it on the free pile? That's such a cool thing to put on a free pile.
Don't know. You could sell those things for like $100, but
yeah,
somebody was feeling generous, I guess, and they just wanted.
That's a legend right there. That is whoever did that is a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can see the appeal of not wanting to deal with like Craigslist or something, and just want to get rid of it to somebody.
It's not dealing with people, yes.
Because I mean, it VCF, it's going to a good home probably at the very least. So
that's true.
Yeah, so I did buy something at consignment, which I usually don't do because I don't have the money. But this came home with me.
Oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
And it actually started life is a silver pod with an HP logo on the back.
Oh, no kidding.
But I had parts from my trash iPod mini, so I did just case swap everything over.
Nice.
So now it looks awesome, and it has a good battery. It's been flash modded, so I don't have to worry about dropping it or anything.
Very
I was
cool.
going to ask, does it have a compact flash card or a SD card? Cool.
You can put a compact flash card in these, and they'll just work.
What's interesting about that is a lot of people don't realize that HP and Apple had an agreement for a while where they actually sold HP branded iPods with machines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it was weird because if you had a problem with your HP iPod, you had to go to HP. You couldn't go to Apple. Yeah. And HP would probably be 10 times worse than dealing with Apple. So
imagine a HP Genius Bar. Oh man, can you imagine?
Oh no.
Okay,
no.
Listen. I'm going to tell a very quick story about the Apple geniuses who worked at the fucking stupid Genius Bar. Oh, I'm not happy with this one. Customer had a MacBook Pro, took it in, said, for some reason, it's not turning on. So they determined it's the battery. So they take the battery, they put a new battery in, they show her it working. Tickety-boo, she takes it home, still doesn't work. After a couple days, turns off. Turns out it's a bad power supply. Now, the lovely geniuses at the store couldn't figure out it's a power supply and charge her for a battery. So what they did after she took it back the second time, they're like, you should just buy a new one.
Yep.
Those are the geniuses? Really? And you're making fun of HP Genius Bar? Apple.
Well, don't worry,
dumbass.
Soon they're going to replace the Genius Bar with the AI Genius Bar. So problem solved.
It's probably smarter than what works there.
Well,
you go to the Apple store and a T1000 just walks out from behind the counter.
I think so. I think to be fair, back when the HP iPods were new, the Genius Bar back then was actually okay. Like Genius Bar.
Well, they were actually trained.
Yeah. Like the Genius Bar quality has gone on a nosedive since like the iPhone took off. I want to say a little bit after that, maybe, but recent Genius Bar, I dread going.
Recent Genius Bar is no different.
Well, this was 8 years ago, so it's not recent.
Genius Bar?
Yeah.
I mean,
recent Genius Bar now is no different than going to Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's.
Right.
Half the people have no idea why they're even there.
So this
exactly, Eric. I totally
Apple
agree with
sales
Eric here. They're
Yep.
just Apple sales reps. They
Yep.
have no idea how to fix anything.
So
Absolutely.
this does remind me, before we go back to the VCF West stuff, I have a small story I want to tell. So just recently, actually, my girlfriend went in to get her iPhone battery swapped out. And I noticed at the Genius Bar that they actually have like a full suite of new Apple products for you to play around with. And it just makes it feel like the motivation here is not to repair what you already have, but to talk you into buying something new, to like have you play around with it and see like, wow, this is so much faster than the thing I'm getting repaired. I should buy a new one. But what's even worse is like we knew, and this goes back to how the Genius Bar is kind of really crap lately. We knew full well she needed a new battery. Like you look at the battery percentage at her phone, and it's 79%, like in the battery health. Like that to Apple is considered consumed and should be replaced. What they did was they made her go through the whole diagnostic routine, even though she knew what she wanted. I was there with her and said, I know what she wants because I've diagnosed this, and went through the whole thing. And they go down over, here's what apps you've been using. I see you use a lot of TikTok. What? Like going on Tinder, don't you? And it's just like, is this necessary to just be a privacy invading asshole about this? Like, really? Like, you see the battery
Zodium?
just
may I present to you Silicon Valley?
Pretty much.
There is no privacy.
But they're probably thinking we're all dumb here and like we think there's a battery problem with our phone. No, we know the battery is it needs to be replaced. It was during tax season, so we had our tax returns, and also later that month, Apple was actually going to increase the battery cost to from $69 up to $99. So she wanted to get it done while it was still cheap, and that's kind of the motivation why we went in right then and there. But they acted like, oh, you have a problem. Let's try and fix your problem rather than replacing your battery. So
reminds me of the South Park episode with the cable company. Oh, you're having a problem with your cable, huh? You never saw that one?
I don't watch South Park, but it sounds like something they would cover.
Yep.
So let's continue on the VCF.
So back to VCF West.
Because we kind of went on an adventure there. So one of the fun parts one of the two fun things I have noted for consignment was somebody dumped a pile of e-mates at consignment for $30 a piece.
What?
Yeah, cool. Like there was like a case of them.
That would have been awesome.
I know Elemento got one. My friend got one. I did not have the money to buy one. Otherwise, I would have gotten one. The catch was that none of them came with power supplies and all the batteries were toast. However, e-mates take standard barrel jacks, so you can easily scare up a power supply for one. On the opposite end of consignment, we have a bunch of Apple IIs, some of which were priced at like $1,000 because people are insane. And I know Adam's probably going to say something like, I paid like $10 for this one I just got here. Because, like Apple IIs probably are worth something, not $1,000. Not unless, like, Steve Jobs personally,
if they're early serial numbers, though, maybe.
Maybe. I didn't look too deep at it. We just saw, like, $1,000, and we thought, there's this auction house that comes to West every year, and, like, we thought it was, like, one of their machines that they were trying to get rid of for like maximum dollar because that's what auction houses do.
Right.
But no idea. That was consignment. That was really all I saw noteworthy. I mean, there was like a box full of SGI mouse pads, but they were like $15 a pop, and I didn't feel like paying $15 for one.
For a mouse pad.
That's a lot for a mouse pad.
Well, because they're SGI.
I mean, I get that they're SGI and stuff, but $15?
Do they make you a sandwich?
If it was from SGU, I would have paid $15. Stargate Universe. Or Stargate.
Universe.
Yeah, I'm going to
debate that.
actually swap my camera over to as soon as I get everything kind of centered over here, because I'm doing this kind of haphazardly, but I'm going to swap over to center monitor for this.
Ooh,
If you would like to make me big.
Yeah, just give me a sec. I'll do that right now. If this wants to work.
You know, some
Sorry.
pictures
Bear
from
with
the
me
event
one
as I
sec.
kind of go and launch into the next segment.
Yep.
But our exhibit was this is from the POV from our exhibit right here.
Cool.
This is our exhibit being set up because we actually were 2 exhibits this year. This was a bunch. This guy was a good friend of ours. He brought in 3 clones and a 9600. And then I'm over here with my 9600 and a G3 blue and white, which
Nice.
thanks to Garth for making that happen, because my second machine was supposed to be a 1.4 gigahertz digital audio G4. That machine utterly failed at like the finish line. So I need to like get a second machine up and running, and he offered to just give me my G3 back from a while ago. So awesome. Just hats off to him for saving everything. But yeah, that was my part of the exhibit. And we had planned from the get-go, because our ticket name was Supercharged Max of the 90s and 2000s. And his was Maxed Apple Workstations of yesteryear. And we planned from the beginning, like as soon as West 2022 ended, we wanted to be next to each other so we could network our exhibits together and have like a game running on all 4 machines. And thankfully, even though we had some problems, we did get it up and running with Quake 3.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, we had Quake 3 running on the G3, both 9600s, and one of the clones, and it was fun, to say the least. It was a pretty big hit. Like, people kept coming over and were like, "Oh my god, it's Quake!" But the thing, I think the reason why that worked in our favor is because QuakeCon was the week after West, so it kind of worked out because Quake was kind of in the public mind at that time, and people saw Quake and like, "Oh my god!" But as you can see, my little buddy is over there just sitting, waiting for their chance. But go through, here's kind of the final setup. My girlfriend is hiding in the back right there. We had a G4 Cube, but unfortunately just decided it did not want to work very well with us. We have a raw SCSI out there in the corner with, I believe, I want to say that's Potato Fi's work, but I don't remember. Yeah, we had a cube because I was like half of an exhibit. We have the Iris Vision exhibit getting set up here because they're good friends of ours, and they showed up. And Iris Vision is a SGI made card that is supposed to go into an IBM workstation, and they were showing that off here. And this is one of the VCF volunteers who is awesome. His name is Barry, great guy. More photos of my exhibit, my half of the exhibit, because my friend didn't show up until like the day of. These are, I'm not sure what these were supposed to be, but they look kind of cool, and I always like Futurama being showed off. So
they're the old turtle, like the logo.
I think that's what this was.
Yeah,
I remember,
and the one on the very far right is the Apple, or not the Apple, is the Commodore. The far right, the one with the ribbon. Is it the Commodore robot, or I don't remember. I watched a video on them recently.
Yeah, I remember Kate saying something about it, so I think that's what it is. System Source was there as well, so that was awesome. This was going to Kate's actual booth before it was set up. Awesome as always. This is actually Elemento's Mac right here, because he didn't make it to the show this year. Well, he made it, but he didn't make it as an exhibitor, which he ran board repair last year, so that's an awesome thing he's done.
Cool.
But here's some Joe spotting right here. I'm sure Joe will very much approve of this, but this was my friend's computer, 9600. And yeah, Max Apple Workstations of yesteryear. Once again, another one of mine, kind of more set up. And I decided last minute because I think, I changed it last minute because I wanted the 9600 over here to show off the RGB lighting inside. And then the thing that saved the day with Darth's fun sticker right there.
That's awesome.
But this PowerBook ran the day because it pretty much ran the Quake server because we tried to run it off the G3, but people kept quitting the server on the G3. So
it's a quick game. Yeah.
And then we were next to a guy with a Pippin, and this was his business card.
That is so
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Neat.
Just like source code on a disc. I still have this somewhere. I need to get it out and actually stick it into a drive.
Was he giving them away?
Yeah.
Nice.
The famed Apple set-top box was also on his table. And he tells me that he and Mac 84 were collaborating on this to some extent.
I was going to say, I bet Mac 84 was jealous of it working, but maybe not.
And then this is me at my exhibit with the spiffy wallpapers and Flappy Mac.
Nice.
And then this is the LAN in action.
Oh, very cool.
So how many workstations do you have playing Quake? Just the two?
Just 4. We have 2 over here, 2 over there.
Okay, cool.
We tried to get the cube on the LAN, but it was not having a good time.
Gotcha.
And then this is the floor, like as people were actually getting into it, and we have
That's cool.
Wow.
the actual Iris Vision with a prototype O2 sitting right here.
Neat.
Nice.
And yeah, that was from the end of the hall. There's my original Mini before I cleaned it up. And this was our LAN holding everything together.
That's some quality networking.
Yeah.
And anytime you use proper gaffer tape in a network, I approve.
Can you go back to that picture, Zodium? Sorry.
Yeah.
That is some
I
proper
love it.
gaffer tape.
So
Love it. Love it.
So we have at the bottom so what ended up happening was we had this switch at the bottom was supposed to be the backbone of our network. Unfortunately, as we were getting it prepared, we dropped it like Linus Tech Tips would do, broke the barrel connector on the switch.
Of course.
So that guy I mentioned earlier, Barry, he thankfully was like, I have some switches at home I could bring for the next day. So he did. And we have a Ubiquiti Edge router at the bottom here, and then another switch at the top. So
Sweet.
Saved the day. Everything got networked up as it should.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Nice.
All around. And then this was one of the fun parts of the Maxed Apple Workstations exhibit. The Interware Booster. Complete in box. And it had just this awesome little, like, Art of Waz on the front of it. I just love it so much.
Does that box originally come with his autograph, or did someone get his autograph on it after?
That's just printed on the box. He does seek out Waz and have him sign it, though.
Yeah, I definitely want to get the actual Waz signature on there.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And then here's the 9600 in all of its glory. Like, full RGB, everything. And you may notice over here, there's a bit of paper.
That's RGB lighting on the bottom.
Yep.
That's epic. I love it.
And there was a remote right here that you can change it with, too. So
Nice.
this piece of paper is missing because the cube was turning itself off constantly on the show floor. We found out that there was a problem with the capacitive button that's fixed if you put a piece of paper between the acrylic case and the inside of the machine, which gives it enough isolation that it allows it to work.
That's awesome.
So we kind of had to think on our feet there. We didn't have another piece of paper to really use with that. So here's the Iris Vision again, and you may be thinking, what the hell? They have a fish too? Turns out, because this guy's a good friend of mine, and he saw the big orange fish, he's like, no, I'm going to get one of my own.
Nice.
And they do come in
That's
rainbow.
hilarious.
We started a trend.
They come in rainbow, and they had arranged the fish to be looking at each other, like from our exhibit to theirs. So,
Oh, that's so cool.
But as you can see, this IBM workstation is running a DOS prompt over here,
Right.
and the SGI stuff over here
That's cool.
at the same time. And that's what the Iris Vision card does, I guess. I don't know enough about it to really say for sure, but that's what it's supposed to do, I guess. And yeah, the fish again, holding my iPod. And this is the other end of the hall, kind of like after the big wave came through. And we have a kid playing Quake. I believe that's Quake. No, that's Unreal Tournament. So, kind of fun thing that happened, speaking of kids on our computers, somebody at some point just kind of left their kids there. Like, we kind of became daycare for them, and they really wanted to play Quake. To the point where when we announced we were switching games to Unreal Tournament, they just went and quit Unreal Tournament, found Quake, and launched it again. And I mean, it was annoying, but I will say, hey, at least they're not playing Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That reminds me though, like of back in the day when my mom and dad would go shopping at the mall, they would leave me in the Eaton store, which Ryan knows what I'm talking about, to watch the Dukes of Hazzard on all the TVs that they had on display.
That's funny.
And then they would go shopping in the mall.
Zodium, I find that at our science fiction convention, we have a room usually that's for retro tech, and a lot of parents just drop their kids off because they think it's just playing video games.
Yeah.
And it's like, go play the video games, kid, while we go talk to this actor from this TV show you don't know about.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like the parents just said, "Yeah, go up in here and screw around."
Which is fine. And I'll be fair. I've only ever had to talk to a couple of kids before. Like usually they're pretty respectful, but sometimes you got to tell them to move on.
Yeah, they were getting a little they were hogging up the exhibit a little bit, but thankfully they kind of like went off. So this is my friend's SE30 that he brought along. It is as you may or may not be able to read, this is a green jade Mac Effects case, which only 25 of them were made. And pretty much this whole thing is why I will take a bullet for Mac Effects, because my friend reached out to them and wanted to buy the blue case instead of like this one. And Mark was like, yeah, we're out of the blue case. I don't know when we're going to be able to get any more. So he was like, is there any other case you were interested in? And my friend was like, yeah, how about that green jade one? And Mark was like, well, that's limited edition. However, I do have one left in stock, and I will sell it to you for the price of the regular case since we didn't have the one you wanted.
Wow.
That was really nice.
And I don't know if I took a picture of it, but there's actually a certificate of authenticity off to the side here. But really cool of them to do that. And I love Mac Effects for doing that. That was just awesome of them. But once again, 9600 with more stickers, Mackie and a community sticker that we're all in. The cube dying, as it does.
Classic cube.
Ooh.
Green iBook.
Yeah.
This is from the portable Macintosh. It's just like, oh my, they're running Tiger on that poor thing. Oh my goodness. But yeah, lime green iBook, very nice. They had like a full set of iBooks down here.
That's pretty neat.
They had a lot of like old laptops. Actually, this is where I got my PowerBook 1400 from. Is one of the guys behind this exhibit, so that was pretty cool. But here's the eMate, the original Airport Express or Extreme, all like a few colors.
I just want to comment back to Javier's comment here. I don't see my stickers. That's because they have this thing called taste.
Oh my god!
Oh snap!
I mean,
Wow,
to be
shots
fair,
fired.
Javier, you have not sent me any stickers. Like I have a PowerBook G4. That PowerBook G4 that I showed off earlier in this photo set. I'm sticker bombing it with like every sticker I could find at a VCF.
Nice.
So hey, send your stickers to me, and I'll put them on there. But this is the 1400 that I got,
Cool.
along with my stickers.
Oh, I forgot about those. You can get the different color things to go in behind the plastic, right?
Yeah, you can actually. Yeah, you can put. So I believe they call them book covers, but yeah, I'm happy that mine actually have the transparent like top case because I can put whatever I want back there now.
Yeah, that's cool.
I sent a couple of your stickers to Ryan Zodium, so I have a ton of your stickers.
Who stickers?
Zodium.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch.
I don't remember. That was a while ago. Yeah, I actually ran out of stickers this year. Like people actually took them this year.
Cool.
Once again, more fun stuff with the LAN. The SE30 just running along like it doesn't give a crap because I mean it's awesome. There's gonna be a lot of duplicates because some of these are taken with my actual camera and like not my phone. This was somebody just having a Game Boy camera exhibit, which was awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Little printer.
And me trying to take a picture of myself and utterly failing at it. This is Keith. This is the guy behind the. So he had a whole table called Mac on Tosh, which is running Mac OS on weird hardware, so to speak, in like virtualization, I guess. He's the one who had the Pippin, and you can see the Pippin kind of right here. And I believe I took some more pictures of his stuff later.
He has it running on a Libreo, doesn't he? Like a Toshiba.
I don't think he's gone that far.
No, I thought there was. Okay.
Also, so this is a funny photo.
Oh, so Kate with her duplicate behind her.
Yeah, so I know the person.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
So there was a better photo of her that like she was striking a pose, but my camera completely biffed the focus. Because I was like, can we take another one? Because Mackie's got his eyes closed. But she actually has a portable battery strapped to Mackie and was taking him around the show floor.
That's hilarious.
But I love how there's two of them with the exact same dress on.
Yeah, what are the odds? That's crazy.
Right?
Well, at a computer show, probably fairly high, more so than walking around the mall.
Right? That's true, so. Yeah.
Ooh, that reminds me, I should wear my Star Trek dress.
There you go.
To the retro expo.
Okay, I'm back.
Actually, what's funny is to the back, the posture and stuff like that, and the dark hair color of the duplicate Kate.
Can you zoom in a bit, Sodium?
It looks like what from the Big Bang Theory, Amy Fairfeller.
Oh yeah.
Has like the strap bag and everything.
Right?
That's hilarious.
So is Mackie as fun as he seems? He seems pretty fun.
Okay, so I guess I will, because I think you can kind of tell from this that like Mackie is not an actual SE30, because obviously I don't think you'd be able to run an SE30 off a small battery pack.
Okay, no.
You don't. Do not
shatter the.
I don't want to
know. Don't pop the balloon.
I'm just wondering, is he as funny as he seems like he is in?
It's a yes or no.
Yes. He was being a very bad boy. He was being a very bad boy on because so he was like, do you remember that video of where Mackie was like, we were doing the whole Mackie was like, I have a bad hard drive, Miss Fox, that kind of thing. He was basically doing kind of something like that, and like Kate was having to like just scold the crap out of him the day before, and yeah, that was quite fun.
That's awesome.
Oh man,
did Mackie play Quake?
Oh, that would be funny to like Mackie be like, I don't need to play Quake, I am Quake, and then just runs Quake.
I am the internet.
That is because Mackie has to go back to Ryan's talk, superb AI. Ta-da.
Oh,
Correct.
Lord.
You'll never find out.
No,
It's
no,
his
DJ
actual
Craze,
voice.
we don't, no answers.
It's just his voice. It's like, how do I do my voice? I just talk.
I know how the voice is done, but I'm not going to say anything about it because
Good.
that won't.
Nope.
Actually, no. Okay, I'm going to use this as a selling point here.
No, don't.
Actually, Kate herself reveals the voice if you sign up for her Patreon.
Hmm.
She does a behind the scenes thing, and
I don't want to know. La 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 la.
No, but you
la,
have
la,
to.
la,
You
I don't
have
want
to be
know.
signed
La,
up.
la, la,
All
la,
he's
la,
saying is, you have to be signed up to her Patreon.
Okay. Okay.
So that's all.
Once
That's
you
all
let the
Zodium's
wizard out of the
saying.
bag,
I'm only
you can't
repeating
go
what
back in
Kate
there.
herself had said.
Yes.
Right now, this is Schrodinger's Mackie. We don't want to.
Correct.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, more awesome shots of people enjoying Quake.
Oh my God! Wait. That makes three females have counted, and all the
There are a
photos.
lot of females there, like a lot more than you'd expect.
Single
anyway.
female lawyer.
So now I believe we're getting into the going around and looking at other exhibits part of this. This guy was awesome enough to let me take a photo of him just enjoying some Quake. This is just talking about what's actually in here. I'm not sure what this exhibit was supposed to be.
Well, you need to press any key to continue to find out.
But here's the Macintosh exhibit.
Ooh, that's a Lisa.
That's
Okay, so Zodium, next time you find a Lisa, put it in your pocket, and then I'll send you my shipping address.
See, me and him are actually good friends, so he would know where I live and know where to find me.
Well, yeah, but what you do is you don't take it home. You take it directly to UPS and ship it to me.
And then Trina sells it because she never keeps
I would
it.
make their one piece.
Hey, don't go giving away my secrets, Ryan.
Okay, so since Justin said something, no, we're gonna do the Mackie reveal like the way that How to Basic revealed himself. It's like everybody says I'm the Mackie voice, and then nobody knows who the Mackie voice is.
So we're anyway, like 300, and I'm the Mackie voice. No, I'm the Mackie voice. No, I'm Spartacus.
So yeah, another one of my exhibit where you can see more of the lighting kind of in effect
green.
Here.
It's Borg. It's becoming assimilated. It's got green.
Yeah.
That's my friend off in the corner up there, who that's his half of the exhibit. A Macintosh 2 with some beefy upgrades in it.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about this. This can go away, but this, delicious. The Pippin doing Pippin things.
What is the Pippin?
It was Apple's game console.
It was a PowerPC based console from the 90s, and it's based on, I believe, the PowerPC 601, and you could just literally stick a Macintosh boot disk in it, I believe, and it'll work.
Okay.
It's basically like a cut down Macintosh that is meant to go in your living
room.
So
I can put a boot disk of OS 13 in it, and it'll boot up?
It'll catch fire. So this is I don't know what the hell this was, but
they need a new hard drive or an install. But looks of it, with the question mark.
Since nothing is off limits here, I'm told this server had porn on it, and that's why they were like, they were trying to be careful with it.
Oh, well now.
So that's where it went.
So this is a teletyping exhibit. I'm not sure how they got so many mini Mackies, but they did. And they're just littered throughout.
No, see, mini Mackies are like tribbles. They just multiply.
Pretty much.
Okay, let me show you. Look, not only one, but two.
I have no Mackies.
I also have Tui.
Oh, Tui.
Mm-hmm.
I did ask the burning question to Kate when I was there, and I was like, I'm just curious, do I have the only golden Mackie in existence? And she is like, yes, you do. And I'm
nice.
forever proud of that fact.
How did you acquire a golden Mackie?
Yeah.
When she announced her Patreon, I was like, take my money, all of it.
Nice.
Nice.
I was the first to sign up.
Mine's gold pressed Latinum.
Oh, yours is gold pressed. I have the
It's
Ferengi version of
it's worth more than that useless gold.
That's right.
Yeah. The Ferengi version of Mackie.
Here's a close-up of the Iris Vision exhibit doing its thing. Once again, Macintosh. Mac software running natively on unusual hosts.
See, you say Mac on Tosh, all I can think is Mac on top, and totally different context.
I mean, this would be. Remember, we saw the peripheral that was named Mac Bottom, and we say the existence of a Mac Bottom implies the existence of a Mac Top.
On top.
I think we
Yeah,
found it.
right. Yeah, see, yeah.
No comment.
Chicken.
More fun stuff over here, like with the
cute girl
clones exhibit. So this guy is wandering around with a
camcorder,
high handy cam, as he does. Our friend exhibit kind of looking not so happy with this at the moment.
Did you read Joe's comment?
Let me see here.
Oh my God, Joe!
Hold on, I need to make that big because that is good.
There you
go. That is funny.
He found the Mac Bottom.
Well, that is a real thing. I didn't know.
Mac Bottom girls make the world go round. Isn't that a Queen song?
Yeah, but I found one on Macari for sale. Mac Bottom. It was an external hard drive.
So here we have Quake running on the cube before the thing just caught fire at the point we're at.
Oh, so speaking of that, because you said it died, were you able to revive it?
So here's the interesting part. So we thought it was a thermal issue at first. So we took the thing apart and we burned ourselves on the GPU heatsink.
Oh, jeez.
But as we found out, it may not have actually been a thermal issue, even though the thing was running stupid hot, because what we think happened is that we are running a 1.5 gigahertz CPU upgrade in that system. And in talking to the only DOS Dude 1 and trying to suss out the issues with the cube, he mentioned, oh yeah, you're supposed to patch OS 9 to work with those upgrades. So ran the patch, and now OS 9 is running perfectly fine. So we think it may have been just because the NVRAM was unpatched for the upgrade, and that's what happened.
That makes sense.
Oh, I muted you. I muted you, Frank, if you're wondering, because your typing.
Yeah,
skills,
I got a message. Sorry.
Your typing skills are like somebody I used to work with that just pounded on the keyboard, and I used to tell them like, stop beating up the poor keyboard. Like it didn't do anything to you.
All right, so this is kind of fun, this picture, because not of what's happening in the center here, but what's happening over on the side here, because this is a clone system that's running like an anemic GPU, but we're like, we want to get Quake 3 running on this thing at any cost possible, so we're running it on a modern LCD at like 240p, and it looks like you'd be running it on a Mac Plus display almost.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so eventually they got a CRT for it, and it looked a lot better. So here's the certificate of authenticity for that Mac Effects case, which is like, yeah, hey, this is 20 of 25, blah, blah, blah. This is an original iPhone that quite a few people actually looked at it and were like, dude, this is what an iPhone looked like back in 2007? Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
Like they've never seen it before.
Did you curl up in a ball because you realized how old that made you feel?
Yes, I did.
Cry?
Anyway, more of the show floor as things were happening.
So about how many people do you think you got through during the day?
I don't even want to know. Like, I was asking, like, we got an email after the event saying, like, if we didn't set attendance records this year, we damn near came close.
Cool.
So, this is a PowerPC Quadra 700. Because you can see the Daystar badge on it. This was brought over from a friend of the exhibit because they want some space on one of our tables. So they brought that over. I'm not sure what the deal with the SE30 is. I don't remember what that thing is running. But this, PowerPC Quadra 700, really nice. One more of the booster. One more of the exhibit itself.
Joe.
I'm getting into like my actual camera photos here. So there's going to be some like back and forth.
No, I think you meant Joe.
Clearly, Joe is feeling better.
I think he's feeling,
Joe, take some of that frisky energy now and go make some boards. You got 33 orders to finish.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I just want to address Adam's comment real quick. So the reason why it looks empty in all of my photos is because we actually had to babysit our exhibit quite a bit because people were constantly breaking stuff. Like they would quit out of the games and then somebody would start up a single player instance of Quake 3 and wonder why they aren't connecting to anybody else. So we had to be really hands-on with our exhibit. And I didn't get a chance to really go out and take photos and visit other people until things kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see a lot going on. It's kind of a quiet.
That's pretty common.
I bet you that Max on top was really a hands-on exhibit as well.
Oh my god! Are you trying to make Joe explode over there?
Yes.
Okay, that's how
the time we usually round down the show because Trina's getting a little too inappropriate.
Yeah, I'll speed through the next bits, but yeah, this is the Iris Vision like being bad, and they're just like trying to make it work.
Well, they should spank it.
Okay, people named Eric Helgeson look away.
I don't think Eric is.
I know
that's not a blue scuzzy.
Yeah, this I thought was interesting because like they're showing off what is it? I can't remember what mode, initiator mode on the Zulu Scuzzy here. But I just like how extra this is because they like built a whole test board for this. But I wanted to get what I really want to do here is get a look at their SATA cards because they were a certain individual was kind of in touch with me for writing documentation for the SATA card, and I was just like, yeah, I unfortunately don't have the mental bandwidth to do it at the moment, but feel free to like, if you want to use my documentation on Tinker Different, go for it. But yeah, more set-top box. This was a core memory, which is a fun exhibit.
Why does that look like a bunch of drowned tribbles?
Because I guess this is how they build these. Like
no. The one that you were saying, that one. It just looks like a bunch of drowned tribbles.
So I guess this is like electrically conductive stuff. It's really interesting. And that's kind of the basis behind this. Like this, that is making this happen.
Oh, cool.
It's really interesting. And they gave me a nice demonstration, and you like can change the colors and the brightness with these magnetic pens.
Right.
It's really neat. And then this is kind of like what it's when it's put to a PCB, like what it does. And I'm sorry for the dogs; they're just doing their thing.
That's okay.
But yeah, this is kind of showing, I believe, an oscilloscope view of what's going on with these.
Cool. Props for the old Mac.
And then the ThinkPad exhibit was pretty cool. We have the butterfly keyboard here.
Oh, speaking of which, have you got your IBMs?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And then there's the little itty bitty one off in the corner there. This is a fully mechanical computer that they had on the floor too, which is pretty interesting.
Cool.
Wow.
And Amiga, of course. and Kate's exhibit fully realized.
That's really cool.
With all the Mackies missing.
Yeah,
The Mackies flew off the shelves.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And you have the real working mini Mackie right there.
Oh,
Nice.
The Vent Nerd, I actually got to meet him. He's pretty cool. And then this is like somebody controlling an old 1800s like sewing machine with an Arduino. That was very cool too.
that's really cool.
And then this is just all some random stuff I thought looked pretty cool. S100 stuff. That kind of goes over my head a little bit. I believe this is
that an Academy Award?
I have no idea. I just thought it looked cool and I took a picture of it. This is one of my favorite exhibits that shows up every year, is like taking a video feed from a phone and feeding it into a Commodore PET and having it show up as like ASCII. It's awesome. I love it so much.
And I believe you had Bill and Ted playing on the other one, if memory serves.
Might have. I remember one of them being like a Rick roll at one point.
Nice.
So this is AMI West, or the Amiga like convention that happens here. I took a picture of this because this is eventually what I would like to do to the 9600, is this little transparent side panel. One of my plans is I want to get a trashed case and like Dremel out the side and have it be see-through. Like
Why?
Amiga 3000.
Why? If you want a see-through case, just go buy. I don't understand see-through cases. People put them in and then they never look inside them.
I mean, if you like used a otherwise completely trashed case for it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying there's so many out there nowadays. It's just next. I'm bored.
And then you have this one, which I believe is just a reproduction of an Amiga system.
Mm.
And then this is the other Silicon Graphics stuff.
Sorry, that's just my person yelling at the clouds around.
Old man yells at cloud.
Right? Except for it's old girl yells at clouds this time, but yes.
And then this was the awards ceremony at the ending of West. And that guy with the white hair right there is Eric. He is the guy pretty much running the whole thing, and he is awesome.
The guy, by the way, standing with his hands in his pockets looks so freaking bored. And the black shirt and the
the mask.
Yeah, with the mask on.
Okay, this is the fun stuff. So this is loadout, and this Barry, the awesome dude he is, went down and found a shopping cart in the cart area, and was like, "Well, full send it. We're taking it. We're using a shopping cart to get everything down to the car."
No, makes
and
sense.
This is pretty much all of like the loadout stuff. Everybody's like getting ready to leave. Once again, the dress shows up.
Oh, jeez.
This guy right here brought a tote full of CF cards.
Wow.
And that's what's going on here. Like, everybody's like picking through a bunch of CF cards. And just pretty much, this is all just like stuff being loaded out. And there's what once was our exhibit, now gone. And everything is sad days.
Everything is broken.
And that's pretty much it. That's VCF West for you.
Nice.
Depending on how spicy we want to get, though, I do have a little bit of something that happened. So I did stop by when you saw that I stopped by the Rabbit Hole Computing booth because I wanted to just like poke around at their wares. Like I'm personally with all the whole SCSI drama thing. I'm like, Eric and I are good friends. Don't get me wrong, but I like to be kind of like diplomatic with everybody here. But when I went by there, they did not want to talk with me at all. It was kind of funny. Like, I had to talk to his friend because Alex, which is the guy who's kind of the face of the company, did not want anything to do with me. So I'm just like, okay, I see how it is. I'm sorry.
I'm not in the know. What's this rabbit hole?
There's a bit of an animosity between SCSI to SD and Blue SCSI.
I've never had one. I've only seen him at Goodwill.
Yeah, there's just some long-running animosity, and I'm personally like,
And honestly, it seems like it's one-sided. It seems like it's all from one particular side.
I've heard it a couple of times, but I've never had one of the FC Scuzzies before or anything.
And by the way, so you shouldn't, from the fact that the guy with the face of the company is being like, "You're a poopy head.
Well,
I don't want to talk to you."
I know a lot of people
to Zodium
have gotten rid of them. So,
well, I still have my Zulu. So the whole kind of the Cliff's Notes is basically when Eric was back a long time ago. Scuzzy the SD was really the only game in town, and I think Joe basically talked about it. But basically, like, basically the rabbit hole computing is basically acting like their profit thing kind of got screwed up. They're acting like business people, and I think that's kind of where the animosity is. Like, because they were selling Zulu Scuzzies for like what, like almost $90 once you factor in shipping and tax.
Ouch.
And that Blue Scuzzy V2 comes along and is like, we'll give you the same thing for like half the price. And they got mad.
That's the thing to me is, the whole idea behind making something like this should be in order to help everybody in the community actually use their computers and make use of things, especially for people just getting into it that might not have money to spend $90 on one piece.
Zodium, is it okay if I make you regular size?
I'll go for it. I'm done.
I would argue that like anything technology, it's a race to the bottom. Every technology will eventually get cheaper, and if it doesn't itself get cheaper, somebody will make something cheaper.
That's kind of the divide between Blue Scuzzy and Zulu Scuzzy. Zulu Scuzzy is made by a for-profit company, and whatever. I'm not gonna hate on them for that. Honestly, but then Blue Scuzzy comes along and is basically like, listen, we're here for the everyman, and like
exactly.
Basically, the whole thing is like, now with the Blue Scuzzy V2, they're being accused of, you stole code from the Zulu Scuzzy, and it's like, you open sourced it. How you open sourced it? They attributed it from day one. Like, what's the problem? If I get having like work you invested forked by someone else. I mean, I understand that feels like crap, but legally they did nothing wrong. So it's just this whole mess. And like Rabbit Hole is, a business. So they're, of course, Matt, and I think that's also why they're pivoting to SATA, because they see that market as being relatively untapped right now. So they're going into SATA. And also on that photo of their booth, they mentioned something called Zulu IDE. So I think they're also pivoting into IDE as well, which is a very interesting move considering that market is very like diverse with solutions. So I didn't mean to drone on about the drama too much, because it really should I just wish everybody would just settle their damn differences already, because it's honestly getting exhausting.
Everybody kiss.
But I think everybody's okay. It's all one-sided.
So here's the easy solution to all this drama. Just simply go to jcm-1.com to buy all your retro
Blue
computer
Scuzzy
needs. Blue Scuzzy, Apple III, Apple II stuff. You need it. Talk to Joe. He ships things out. He builds 33 orders in one night while making dirty jokes. He's a great guy. Support him so he can retire.
Amen.
There you go.
How about this? Just don't bother with Scuzzy at all. Just put a SATA card in it and be done with it.
That's right. Done.
Don't guys
on that bombshell, perhaps we should clue it up. So does anybody have anything else they want to rant? May I get a soapbox for anyone to stand on?
I'm going to be picking up 2 iMacs that are both broken for a friend of mine. So possibly tomorrow.
Frank, what about yourself?
Nope.
No updates? Zodium, anything else to add?
Nothing really. I mean, I've just got to like whip an iMac into shape at some point, but that's like a
Ooh,
tomorrow problem.
Has been really bad.
Yes, is in fact been really bad.
What model
It
iMac
crashed
is
and
it?
it won't boot up.
It's a lampshade iMac, and those things are
Oh,
hell
nice.
to disassemble.
Oh God,
Don't take it
Don't
back
say
there.
that to
Eric,
Eric. No,
where
yeah.
are you, bud? Go help Zodium.
Oh,
Hurry
yeah,
up
it's
in
having
the stream.
PTSD now.
But Zodium,
All right,
thank
well,
you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
Oh,
do
no
appreciate
worries.
you sharing the photos and your insights from VCF West for all of us who did not make it. So yeah, really, really appreciate it.
No worries.
I get jealous
Glad
every
to
time we
be
talk
here.
to somebody who goes to a VCF event.
I know, me
get
too.
very
I've
jealous.
never been to one. I've never been to one.
So,
Well, everybody should go to the World
new
of
Canadian
Retro
one?
Computing Expo 2023, taking place September 16th and 17th in Ontario. I forget where it's taking
Kingston,
place.
Kingston, Ontario.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm going to work.
yeah, I'm gonna go
That's
work.
right.
Work it,
Work.
baby.
Hey, they
All
charge
right,
by
well,
the
guys,
letter. Come
if
on.
you guys want to share out the link for the after party, feel free.
Oh yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
we'll probably end the stream here now. So
Yeah,
I'll
of
ask
course
everybody
there's
to
gonna
like
be
and
an after
share
party.
and come back next week for some more hilariousness. Trina's got a whole week to come up with some dirty jokes. And again, we thank
I don't need a week.
Zodium for joining us this evening.
Yes,
so
thank you.
thank you guys, and
Yes, thank you so
good night.
much.
Godspeed.
Yep. Have a great night, guys.
Night, night.
Bye.